We're going to talk about the scientific method. I know this is something that you have talked about in every single science class you've had to this point, but it doesn't hurt to talk about it again. So there are different steps to the scientific method. The first is your observation of problem, and this is usually what are you trying to test? So are you trying to figure out how to get better grades? Are you trying to figure out how to run faster if you're an athlete? It's all about what your observation is or what you're trying to find out. The second step is your hypothesis. We always talk about hypotheses as an educated guess. So it's what you think will happen. It's usually in the form of an if-then statement. So for our grades, let's say our problem is I want to get better grades. So your hypothesis might be, if I study at least 10 minutes a night, then I will get better grades. The next thing you want to do is experiment. And so this experiment is whenever you test the hypothesis. So again, in our example of better grades, your test would be then every night, look over your notes for 10 minutes. You want to make sure you collect and analyze data. And this is usually in the form of tables, graphs, charts, comparisons, things like that. So your typical science data table, your typical science graphs that you have to draw. And so again, in our example that we've got for better grades, you might have your grades from before you decided to start testing this hypothesis, so your daily grades, your test grades, and things like that. And then you'd put that all in a data table. And then you'd go and do your 10 minutes every night looking over your notes, and then you'd compare those notes, your grades from that first set to the second set. So you'd have all of your grades for daily work and tests and everything in its own separate chart for after you started studying. Then your last step, of course, is the conclusion, and this is exactly what it sounds like. It's when you conclude on your problem, your hypothesis. It's usually a restatement of the hypothesis into discussing what you found out. So if your grades went up, then that would be your conclusion. Well, by studying 10 minutes every night, I got better grades. I found this out because comparing my daily grades from before I started studying to my daily grades after, I noticed my daily grades after went up. And I also looked at my test grades, and I saw a much larger significant increase in my test grades after I started studying every night. That would all be in your conclusion. Normally conclusions, you'd like to have at least a small paragraph.